Waking up to the snow this morning was really something special. It just has put me in the mood for a fantastic four-wheel drive trip to come. This is going to be something special. I can feel it in my bones. Or is that just the cold?
Mount Hotham is definitely a place with split personalities. In the winter months, it's a snow skier's paradise with some of the prettiest powder and most perilous slopes in the country. Of course, the downside of all that snow is that the four-wheel drive tracks go into lockdown mode. But when the white stuff melts, the tracks open up and this place turns into a four-wheel driver's paradise. Now, while you'll normally see me running solo, this time I'm spending some time with the crew from the Nissan Beyond Hotham experience. Beyond Hotham is a four-wheel drive experience for everyone, from beginners right through to experts. There are single-day trips, four-day trips, and even bush mechanics and chainsaw safety courses. I came last year and I was determined to make it back again.
There's no doubt about it. The tracks that we're driving on today are absolutely gorgeous. But there are a lot of gorgeous tracks in the high country. It seems that at the top of every track or at the bottom of every valley, there's always something to see. But the beauty of this particular trek is actually at the end of your ICOM or your UHF CB radio. You turn this up and you get a fantastic commentary from local experts, and I mean experts. These guys have written plenty of books, they've done lots of videos and DVDs, they really know their stuff.
Well, I hope everyone's had a good weekend. Most people have been with us for the weekend. I hope that we've provided some opportunities for you to get to know who we are and what's around, what's available. Now folks, as we work our way across here, there's a few bits and pieces of, I suppose, why we're doing on this trip. This is a gold discovery tour trip. Basically it's a golden footprints. These tracks are all used by miners, and our guest presenter, Andrew, can fill us in a little bit more as we work our way across towards the Guns Creek track. I'll throw it over to you, Andrew, for a bit of an intro.
Across the creek. Now, mining had been going on basically continuously on this flat from 1867 until the 1930s. Ben was here with his wife, retired and enjoying life, and they had a few chooks and goats and so on. And just over down in the creek down there's another part, two blokes who were just, working the alluvial gold in the creek, and they were making reasonable tucker money, which is pretty good for the 1930s. And then of course in 1939 we had Black Friday. And of course this group of miners, as there were groups of miners throughout the whole hills in the northeast ranges, weren't really aware of what was about to dawn on them. A lot of these people saw the smoke and stuff and obviously made immediate preparations to save themselves. There's a tunnel downstream on the creek down here. Ben grabbed his wife Mary, they could see that the smoke was coming, and they grabbed the other two miners down there and they went into that tunnel and sought refuge. And the fires came through and just burnt absolutely everything. Not all the cattle, which are held in a rock yard down here, were all killed, all their chooks are gone, their hut was gone, the little battery that he'd built down there was gone, all the mine infrastructure outside the mine, the blacksmith shop was all gone. And no one out in the valley knew if they'd survived or not. And it took them several days to get up here to find Ben and his wife and the other two miners and alive because of the fallen timber and that across the road. But in a lot of ways, although Ben and his wife and these other two chaps survived the bushfires, the 1939 bushfires sounded a death knell for mining on the Buckland, because mining was on its last legs, and for all this infrastructure that had been set up and developed over years, with that gone, to rebuild that during the 1930s, it just wasn't economically viable. So essentially the Buckland field, unlike Harriettville, ceased to be a goldfield on that day. So this is sort of where it began and sort of where it ended.
On this trip we're actually joined by a fella called Andrew Swift, and Andrew, he's not a particularly old fella, as I suppose a lot of historians are, but he's written plenty of books, done lots of videos, and he is an absolute goldmine of information. You really are going out here with a group of, I guess, professionals in their field. They really know their stuff.
These two fellas have that mining claim.
When did this love affair with history start? Because, I mean, you're amazingly well versed in it. Just how long have you been doing it for?
Oh, thanks, Pat. Well, it's been a few years now. In fact, since I was a little tacker, about 4.5 foot tall.
Right, okay.
Yep. Now, today, I've got something a bit special for you. If you're interested, are you feeling adventurous?
Absolutely, mate. Always adventurous. That's the name of the show.
Well, you're looking like you're full of adventure. If you can grab a bit of gear together, just be prepared for anything, and I'll take you for a little stroll up the hill up behind us, and I'll show you something pretty special.
I grabbed my Pelican torch and some other gear and started heading uphill. And I'll tell you, I wish I had my 4x4 with me.
Well, this track we're on, 140 years ago, was the track that a whole group of fellas had to walk up and down every day.
It's hard to believe how tough these old miners would have been. Imagine travelling all that way with all that gear.
So, Pat, how are your nautical skills?
Nautical skills, mate. We're a few hundred kilometres from the ocean. I don't think I'm going to be needing that.
Well, I've got something for you. And just another point, are you scared of the dark at all?
I'm all right. I've got my Pelican torch, mate.
All right, well, I've got an underground adventure that might blow your mind. So come on, let's go and have a look at this special place.
What are we doing in here, Andrew?
Anchors away, Pat. We're going back in time.
Where is this mad historian taking me? All the way up the mine here, you'll see these lovely little cylindrical holes punched into the side of the wall, and that's where they shoved their black powder to explode these mines.
As we got deeper and deeper into the mine, things got a little bit squeezy. I couldn't believe how deep these miners had gotten in their quest for gold. As things started to dry up, Andrew showed me something fascinating.
There's just heaps of them. And you can see the rim marks through here. If we just squat down here, Pat, and look at this. See these impressions on the tunnel floor here?
Yep.
Do you know what they are?
No idea, mate.
These are the hobnail boot prints of the last miners that worked in this mine. What we've got here, we've got the heel marks, which looks like a little horseshoe, but it was the iron heel on the back of the boot, and then all of the nail pleats, which gave the grip to the boots of the miners.
No way. So that's actually fossilised in here, basically.
Yep, fossilised from the last miners. The very last footsteps are probably this one and this one and this one as they walked out of the mine for the last time.
Any idea what this mark is up here, mate?
That's the iron to rim the wheelbarrow that they used to push the gold bearing ore back outside with.
Wow.
Unreal.
That is amazing, mate.
Yeah, well, I've got something up here a bit further I'll show you that gives you an exact date on this.
Okay.
Now, Pat, this little bit of evidence dates those footprints.
How about this? A newspaper showing proof of the last time this mine was used. This has been a truly brilliant experience, and I just feel so privileged to have done it. There's a very good reason why this campsite at Talbotville is the most popular in the high country. In fact, you come down here on an Easter long weekend and there are wall-to-wall campers. But for good reason. I mean, check it out. Lovely green grassy paddocks for the kids to play in. And also, just up the hill, there's a long drop toilet for the ladies. But a little tip, with a campsite that's so popular, you want to make sure that you bring in your own firewood, because the hills around this place have been scoured dry of the stuff. And you don't want to go camping on a chilly high country night without a nice toasty fire. With the trip well on its way, we decided to talk to the Beyond Hotham crew to see just how they were travelling.
Now, I noticed you've got a pretty trick camping setup here. What have you got?
Oh, it's a T-van Marungi bike track trailer. We did a lot of research many years ago, and these things military grade suspension. They go where you can get your vehicle. If you can get your car there, you can get your trailer there.
We've been coming here for 3 years, and you meet up with the same people. It's like friendships you develop. Some of the unique terrain that Hotham and its surrounds provides.
Well, this is our third year doing Beyond Hotham. It's a beautiful part of the world, even when the weather's like this. And we just love getting out and seeing as much of it as we can, especially in a good group of people.
So the Beyond Hotham experience, what does that offer for you guys that's different to, say, just going out on your own?
I think doing it with a group of people, so there's a bit of the social side of things, a bit of safety in numbers if something breaks, someone who's more mechanically able than me. And it's a good chance to swap stories and see what people have done to their vehicles and what equipment they've got, that sort of thing.
Speaking of what they've done to their vehicles, mate, you've got the world's biggest bonnet scoop there on your patrol. I'm dead set envious.
Well, he who has the best gadgets wins.
Yeah, that's right. Where did you find that?
I actually got it through one of the internet forums from patrol enthusiasts, and a guy had made one for himself, and I think once other people saw it, 20 people wanted to buy one, and he's made a little cottage industry making them and selling them. I couldn't resist.
I might pick one up myself, mate.
I'll send you the link.
Excellent.
When we first started off, there was a few teething problems, and then basically we went into a program that had a few day trips and bits and pieces, and slowly it's just been growing and growing and growing, and people are absolutely having a ball. And I feel a lot safer, I suppose, going into some of this high country with blokes that are experienced, know it, it's basically their backyard, and they feel comfortable to follow somebody through some of this rugged terrain that basically, allows them to know that they're going to get home without having, major problems.
Out the back of Talbotville, we snaked our way through the mountains and streams, again crossing the beautiful Wanangata River. Just up the track at Eaglevale, we sought permission from the property owners to visit a golden piece of high country history. This was high country cattleman Harry Smith's hut. The hut has, of course, been lovingly restored by a mob out of Melbourne who have created an amazing replica of life from 150 years ago. The entire place is a marvel, right through to old Harry Smith himself lying in bed underneath his kangaroo skin rug. Harry Smith is as much a part of high country history as his hut, as he played a critical role in the famous Wanangata murders that I mentioned earlier. He was the man who discovered the dead body of his good friend Jim Barclay. The police managed to single out a suspect, but 9 months later, that man, John Bamford, was found dead on Mount Howard. Jim Barclay's son, well, he went on to work for Harry at Eaglevale until Harry died at the age of 86. But amazingly, all the relics are still there, even old hobnail boots that the miners used to wear. Well, I'm absolutely blown away, folks. The attention to detail in that hut is just spectacular. You really feel like you're walking into a slice of history, a slice of yesteryear. I've seen a few high country huts in my time, but that one takes the cake. I tell you what, we've seen some beautiful campsites this time around in the high country, but I think we might have saved the best till last. This campsite is on King Spur, just past Lanky Plain, and you're perched on this beautiful soft button grass within this gorgeous grove of snow gums. But to top it all off, there is a magnificent view stretching right across to Hotham. You're even looking down at the headwaters of the Dargo River. This is a very, very special place. Well, that's the end of my high country four-wheel drive experience, but I hope I've wet the whistle for you, and hopefully you can make it down here in your very own four-wheel drive. I'll tell you what, a great way of doing it is to jump on the back of a tour on the Nissan Beyond Hotham experience. It's a fantastic way of really soaking up the best that this area has on offer.